So let me start. And I'd like to ask you first, how much of the people here heard of NFTs?
How many
I mean, all of you probably, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And
So
how
it's
much of
like-
you? How much of you?
Sorry, go.
How many of you are holding an NFT? To the younger guys in the room, the youngest guys in the room, probably. And let me ask you a question. Why are you not holding an NFT? Like the guys that are not holding. What's stopping you?
Too dodgy.
I don't know what the use case.
Look,
I still don't.
Look, I was actually telling the story. I tried, lost 35 US in ETH, and it failed. And it was just on Opensea. It was just too dodgy. And so we just said, look, whatever. It's just, I don't know. So it was just this kind of
bad user experience.
Bad user experience. Maybe just that. Even
that was a technical problem. You mean?
Look, it's from the wallet into Opensea, and what happens after that. It was quite opaque for someone who is not doing this every day. It was probably a bit opaque, and so this probably just is currently preventing me even just to. So that's why I'm interested.
And how when you buy
mainstream be picked up by businesses.
And how did you pick the NFT that you wanted to buy?
Or simply this NFT was at $0, and my son said, "Look, that's great. Let's just try that. Let's just learn." It was the learning experience.
Yes.
But of course, you have to load your wallet with I don't know 50 US of ETH, and go ahead and just go through the steps.
Yes.
I cannot really. I think I actually did a screen recording of the error, but it was like nowhere to be found. It's disappeared somewhere in either. Yeah. So but that was just that kind of challenge. Anyway, I don't want to. Others have probably more.
Yeah. So basically, it was an experiment just to try and to do it the first time and to understand how to be done.
Yeah.
But
exactly.
it wasn't like an investment or something like that. It's not at that you weren't at that stage yet.
No. Of course, I was just curious. Of course, if I would put quite some money behind it at first, it has to work. It has to work for me. I have to understand what are the steps.
Yes. Yeah. And the guys that are holding, Paulius and the other guy.
Yeah.
Sam. How did you pick the NFT that you chose?
Well, I picked the first NFT I bought was based on somebody on Twitter saying they wanted to buy a golf course, and then everyone went, "Oh yeah, I'm in on that," and then they created a DAO, and then they launched an NFT project to fund buying a golf course. So I thought that sounds like a cool idea. I want to be part of minting that. So that's what got me into that. Was like the community they created in that. It was only 2 weeks, but yeah, so it's that the access to the community and access to potential in real life utility. Yeah.
Yeah.
But for me, I worked with an NFT project, so I had to explore the whole ecosystem a bit more and see what's happening. That was in August, so when the whole craziness was happening, 200 projects a day launching, and yeah, so at that moment it was kind of impossible to find what's good, what's bad, and so yeah, I bought a few, sold a few, made 10x, some didn't do anything, and yeah, but kind of now I stepped back and just watching because it's a bit too full on. So I have a few which I'm holding, but and as I said, worked with a few NFT projects which are close to my heart, which is a bit different than looking through Opensea 10 million, 20 million, whatever projects.
More.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So let me start the presentation. I think the thing that we see here, and it's very common to crowds I'm talking to, is that everyone heard of NFTs, but still not hurry to get in. They usually don't understand exactly what they get out of or how to get inside of that. And I'll share my screen and we'll talk about it together during the presentation.
Sure.
Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Oh, great. I cannot see your faces while I'm presenting, so if
Smiling.
anyone, I'll just, I can't see if you make funny faces on me. It's fine, but if someone wants to talk during, just speak. Okay.
Thank you.
Having only one screen here. So we are Boyo. We are a decentralized curated NFT marketplace, and the problem that was in the room is one of the problems we address. So the other problem is from the creator side. So today the data is quite amazing. 99.8% of NFTs have not been sold. Meaning, if you take it the other way around, 0.2% has been sold of NFTs. What's with all those 99.8? Are all of them are just bad creators? Or all of them are not? How does the project succeed? So today, the biggest projects in NFTs, it's like Paulius probably know because he was involved in a project. It's like a small startup company. You have involvement of like 5 to 6 team members. Usually, it's from the west coast of America. It's usually you have to have a blockchain developer, you have to have a community manager, you have to have. It's a whole operation, and this operation is really not accessible to anyone. So if we have this dream of NFTs coming and democratizing, the creator economy, today it's still not apparent. The other way around, you can see it's even become more harder to create a good NFT project that sells, and to migrate. Even if you have communities outside of the Web3 world, to migrate them into the Web3 world is not that easy. Since an NFT project needs more than just minting the NFT, creating it. It needs some things that will make it succeed, and that's a big problem. From the other side, that's the problem we addressed before in the room, that there is maybe 200,000 active traders in NFTs. You know how many people heard of NFTs? I mean, probably right now, billions, more than a billion. And 200,000 active traders is a very low number comparing to how many people heard about it and hyped about it, and you're coming to hear about it more. People are very interested. I meet with investors every day. Funds that never thought of Web3 are now thinking about Web3. The whole field is burning. But still, this NFT hype has 200,000 active traders. So what's something in the translation doesn't exactly work, right? How come from the potential of
Lost you.
that 80% of NFTs are scams on their free minting tool, meaning that there is a whole problem. There's bots coming and taking just art and putting it on as their art. So if there is a claim that the blockchain should basically offer authentication, you can see that people are using it exactly in the opposite way. They're taking other people's work and minting them as their own work. Or rug pulls, you probably know this, that the project that is putting on a project and then the team just runs away with the money. So this market is still a very problematic market, and much of the major problems here have not been solved, or it's not exactly what the potential of this market should be. So
You said
like
80% was scams. Let's go through that.
Yeah, so I mentioned like three major problems. The creators are not actually selling, or like very few creators are selling. Very few projects are succeeding. It's becoming a power of the minority, of a small group. And the as a buyer, it's not. I mean, the potential is not being only 200,000 traders worldwide with a potential of much more, and the market is very messy. So basically, our Boyo solution for that is that the buyers, like you guys, they should have more information about what they're buying in a more concentrated way. I mean, today, if one of you guys want to understand what they're buying when they're buying an NFT, they will have to go through a very deep research journey, which is, I'm not sure it's even accessible to. I mean, if you're not in that space, in those spaces, it will be very hard. Paulus is nodding with his head, so he's agreeing with me.
I fully agree. I fully know what you mean, and especially if it's a creator, if it's a project, then it's made by anonymous team, like you're basically done. You're not sure if it's a rug pull or not, and you're basically risking everything.
Yeah, but even before it's a rug pull or not, just to get all the basic information and the research, it's kind of, I think the analogy, a nice analogy can be buying a stock. If you want to buy a stock in the stock market, right? And you just go in the stock market and I say, okay, I want this stock. I mean, that would be very silly, Like you have to do either you do lots of research yourself, or you take some analyst or some company that will help you during that process, some advisory. So basically, today the NFT market is still runs very independently. That some people are accessible to that knowledge, to that research, and the majority is not. The majority doesn't know how to go to Discords. They don't know how to research. They don't know what makes an NFT project innovative. They don't understand the concept of utility tokens. Lots of those concepts, they have to be have to be accessible to people. So basically, what this Boyo is offering a curated marketplaces. Curated marketplace, meaning that the curators act as someone that gives the buyer much more rich experience while buying an NFT. The guy you talked about going to Opensea before. What's your name? Sorry.
Martin.
Martin, yeah. So when Martin comes to Opensea, I think he's just, he sees this page of buying an NFT. It doesn't exactly, there's no info there except some analytical info. There's no info of like, what is this project? How is this, what's it related to? What's the context here? How am I buying, what am I buying, basically?
Look, my son was actually making the decision. He said, look, that looks cool, this pixelated ape, And he said,
Yeah.
let's just get this, and it's a $0 or 20 cents.
Yeah, as long as it's $0, it's fine, But when it comes to $1,000,
yeah, 20,000, I guess that's why you need the research.
Today, the prices of apes are around $500,000, right? So that's not something you say the pixels are cool, right? You kind of have to know, what you're doing there.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it is true that the NFT the whole market is kind of experimentally, right? There is still, even brands are experimenting with NFTs. And every time a new project comes out, it kind of has to scratch the innovation surface, right? It has to be more innovative than the before one, and new utilities to the tokens. All of that is true, but this data has to be more accessible, and that's why Boyo offers the curators. The curators are basically the guys that are also promoting the creators, meaning they get a profit out of the creators, but also they're giving like not profit, like a percentage. And they're also giving the information about the project. They know how to market it, how to explain it to people, so when someone can buy it. So that basically opens the market of 99.8% that are not sold. We want to see that percentage much lower. We want to see, much more creators that are being able to enjoy the fruits of that. Also, we are in contact with galleries and other people that have today. They have a base. They have a followers base. They have real action doing. They have real content. But they need to make this transfer into Web3, and they need some promoting or marketing agent there that will help people explain what they do. That's one side of Boyo. The other side of Boyo is basically this thing. I don't know if you can see that.
Yeah.
That's a chip. That's a tag. That's a physical tag that we have developed. This tag is basically allows physical items to go on chain, to go on to be an NFT. Our main use case, there is many use case for that, but of connecting the physical and digital. Probably some of you can already work with imagination, how we can make a physical item into an NFT, where it can help. We can speak about merchandise that is being like an NFT, like clothes. We can talk about other stuff, about fashion brands. But one of the main use cases we started with is galleries, and people that are right now they want to be in the Web3 world. They have real content to give, and they're afraid to be kept out. And they have physical stuff. They have paintings. They have artwork that they want to put it as an NFT. They want to be part of the NFT market, so they will be open to those new buyers, to this new technology, and to the new ways of making contact with your community. So basically, this physical piece is right now we're working with a few galleries. We have we have also sold Israel's one of the most Israel's biggest artists, Yaakov Agam, was sold using this technology to real clients with this tag. And that's basically another vertical that we are offering, which is the physical vertical. And the third vertical, so we talked about the curators, we talked about the physical, and the third vertical is I'll call it utility, and I'll explain. Right now, we're seeing a little bit of the NFT market is going a little bit down since January. So lots of people are like happy to say already the bubble is starting to burst, and that it's coming down. And I mean, I'll say it very very honestly. Also in Boyo, we are very realistic about thinking that there is lots of parts in this that are bubbly. That the NFT, I mean, has the aspect of being a bubble. But we also believe that NFT is going to stay, and I think that's kind of a consensus in our circles at least. NFT is here to stay. NFT is here to stay in 2025, maybe even 2030, maybe further. NFT is going to have use cases. But right now we're like still in a very early stage where the experimenting and the hype is kind of disrupting to see the major use cases with NFT. I mean, whoever can answer the question, how will NFTs going to be in 2025? I mean, he can make a lot of money if he knows that.
So both.
I mean, that's one of the questions that most I'm very into recently. And anyway, all that was to say that NFTs are starting to become they have to start to offer real stuff. They have to start to offer like utility, and this name the name for that in the industry is utility. And that means that utility, that anyone that holds an NFT can have some utility out of it, can have some real stuff out of it. And what is real stuff? I mean, also you can say that also. I mean, you can do a party in the metaverse. That's also a real stuff for me. It's also value. But you can also do like a real event. When your NFT is going to be your card. So whoever holds that NFT, let's say you're a creator, right? And you have a community. You have like followers, and they want to connect with you. Whatever you do, they want to connect with you. They want to support you even. They want to promote. So you come and you make your NFT, right? And then that NFT becomes a utility for you to make a giveaways special to only those NFT holders, to make events special only to those NFT holders. So this NFT becomes kind of a member club inside your fan club, right? It becomes like a connection to connect peer to peer. They promote you by buying the NFT and keep trading it. If other people, it becomes as much as you're more valuable, then the NFTs become, those cards become more valuable. And they have an option, to connect with you straight away without any middlemen, and giving you, something that will give you the money that you earn from those NFTs will basically give you It's like a circle that gives you more motivation to invest in that, to invest in the connection with your fans. And I think we're starting to see here a connection with fans that is very not in the same, one way as it was in the web in the in the previous world. We're starting to see like a circle that is motivating. The fans are reacting. There's a community channel between the fans and the creator, and there's like becoming like bases of super fans that are attached to the content that this creator is giving. So basically, Boyo is also developing the ability for anyone to make utilities out of his tokens, and I'll explain that point. Today, to make utilities, every project kind of invents his own utilities, but usually it's kind of goes into a few groups, events, whatever, if they're virtual or digital, giveaways, either it's NFTs or physical stuff, and communication, some kind of communication that they can chat together, all the NFT holders with the creator. And there is staking, staking meaning that people that believe in you, they take that NFT and they say, okay, we're gonna stake that NFT, right? We're gonna hold. We're not gonna sell it, right? We're not gonna sell it. We're gonna show our brand loyalty by saying we're not selling that NFT. We're totally in with you. And those like 4 functions. These are functions that every time that someone opens an NFT project, it kind of have to develop them from the beginning, from scratch. That's why you have to have like a team of developers to create utilities in your NFT project, in your tokens. So basically, we're kind of streamlining that process to make it accessible, because our ideal that any creator that creates good creation doesn't have to open a startup company to make a good NFT project. He just have to have an idea how he wants to communicate with his community and how he wants to to give them value. If he has physical stuff, he can use our chip to upload physical stuff. And we also offer this promotion idea of the curator.
So basically making a cross between foundation and like where, let's say, like artists can go a foundation marketplace for NFTs, where the artists can go and do one-on-ones, kind of, or 1 out of 25 or whatever number they choose, they do the NFT project. But then on top, then they can just tick a box saying, I want this utility.
Exactly.
They don't need a developer. You already have a smart contract running underneath, and that's just going to basically solve all their issues, or not all of them, but a lot of them. Can they add as they go? Can they add utility as they go?
Yes. I'll say more than that. Today we have already connected a full node on Ethereum blockchain, meaning that we don't use any third party. We're just straight from the drain, from the source, and we already, anyone that holds an NFT today, even that he didn't do it from the beginning, now he can use that NFT to utility to, like, also it works backwards. He can connect to our platform and utilize his NFTs to create new utilities for his users, right? And that's something we're seeing all the time in projects. Like, say you're like a ape holder, so someone that then decides to give you a giveaway because you're an ape holder, right? And no one said it in the beginning, but it's kind of possible because it's very easy to target those wallets, on the blockchain.
For anyone to see, anyone can just do whatever they want with that contract.
Yeah, and even the biggest projects, that usually don't reveal what is going to be all the benefits, during the time. So usually it kind of evolves into more content and more benefits that the holders are getting. So yeah, of course. I mean, that's doable.
Yeah, that's great. And with the physical, with the NFC, like the chip, how do you work with that? Is there an extra cost to the project, or like how does that work?
Yeah, today our main client there is galleries.
Okay, so just paintings at the moment.
And all kinds of like physical pieces, yeah, all kinds of physical art items. We have it's based in Israel. We have one of the galleries. It's not only in Israel. It's also they have in New York and Dubai, and they have. So this is one of the galleries which I haven't checked it, but they claim to be the biggest under $200,000 in the world. And we're working with them, and we're working with other galleries, the Yaakov Agam Selling Gallery, which is one of Israel's biggest artists. So right now, the main, we have more interest from more galleries in the world. Right now, this is the main use case we're using for the NFC chip. But we do see other use cases in the future, also with the giveaways. When we think about utility, so kind of give away physical items to holders, to NFT holders, getting their address, and sending them home, like as an NFT holder, get something that will connect them more to the brand, like clothing and stuff like that. That those clothing could actually be a physical NFT. There would be like each one of these will be sellable as an NFT, and will be like tradable. It's also like a collector's item.
Yeah, you get your jumper, and then you get your jumper in Metaverse, but then you can separate your jumper from the Metaverse jumper.
Yeah,
so you can Metaverse jumper, but you keep your own real one.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you can follow the trail.
And also, there is today in the beginning NFTs didn't give the IP, but today the bigger projects are giving the IP for their customers, meaning that they give you like the ability to do to monetize your NFT and to make like commercial use of it. So basically, if you have an NFT or like an art piece even that is worth something, you can put it on a T-shirt, make an NFT out of it, and you can sell that as an NFT holder, right? Not as the artist, because today lots of the projects, they're actually giving the IPs away to their holders. I mean, not all. Some of them don't. I mean, probably bigger artists wouldn't want that.
It's starting. I think last year no one was giving away the IP, and then slowly it's changing.
Yeah.
At the same time, it's still not like it depends, because the IP rights in legal term, they're not recognized yet. NFTs are not connected to the IP rights yet, so you can say it there, but it's still disconnected. There's still that disconnect.
Yeah, I mean, the government will. I mean, a lot of the use cases we don't see yet is because of a very slow.
Yeah,
but the reality is stronger than the government, I have to say. Yeah, I mean, the fact it's an agreement. The fact.
Quick question for you: How do you solve the problem of just someone moving the chip to another piece of artwork?
Yeah, that's we get asked that a lot. That's a good question. So I have two answers for that. One of them is we're using like very tough security measures, like we're having a special glue and some stamps we put on, which are like extra measures. That's one thing. Other thing is that if we work, I mean, our vision is to implement that inside, the materials themselves. Kind of that makes the need of you have to break the thing in order to take it off. And the third answer, which is a bit philosophical, is that you actually have one original piece made from meaning that if you will take this and you will transfer it to a new item, that will make that other item the original in a way. Because I haven't spoken about it. I haven't spoken about it, but this has lots of practical use cases, practical usages with authenticity and provenance of the item, going from one hand to another. All of that is listed on the blockchain, and ownership. So the authentication part is going to be like, okay, there's one piece of that in the world. It's registered on the blockchain. And now you're going to move that to another piece, and there is one piece of it registered on the blockchain. You cannot multiple the value, so it kind of makes the incentive to counterfeit a bit weaker.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
There's another question. Of course, it makes sense to use it for art, because galleries they also get a percentage of the sale, so it's a model. It's established. To have trust, and it's probably sort of self-feeding, and it's sort of established itself to you buy art from a gallery, there is some kind of trust, maybe there is, maybe there's not. But of course, if you want to translate this into sort of what you currently see at Opensea, which is sort of Wild West, that's of course a very different concept. How would you sort of, because otherwise it would be sort of a conflict of interest. If you say, look, there is a big marketplace, you get 5% of everyone who lists something or sells something. It's like, it's not inherently real curated, or not necessarily. It could be just because who pays you most type thing.
Yes.
How you establish this kind of trust?
That's a very good question. It's basically, we deal with it. I have to say, it's a question you were asking very good questions. I mean, you're asking the question right to the point. This is actually why we're starting to transform the model more into like a gallerist kind of way. That the guy that is showcasing the art, the curator, is more like a gallerist than a curator. He tell when you're in a gallery, you're in a selling point, right? The guy is not trying to be objective. He's trying to tell you what's good about the art, right? But you're like in a selling point. So basically, the curator, we're starting to understand there is an internal conflict, like you said, and we're starting to see more like as a gallerist that is curating his creations into one place where he basically tells you, hey, I want to sell, but I'm giving you information, like you come to a gallery anyway. So that's
basically, you're saying that you're creating a job for someone. As you said, they will be rewarded at certain, probably in a smart contract, you get a certain percentage, which you probably can shift off 1 to 5, 10, whatever percentage of the profit. How do you manage fake projects with fake curators?
Yeah. So we have basically a curator DAO.
Decentralized. So anyone can join. Anyone can.
So the curators is not like open for anyone. It is open for anyone to try and be, but it's like a DAO, right? It's like a community of curators.
Yeah.
So this community of curators, this DAO, has the ability to basically join new members and kick out existing members in case they're like rotten. But also they're very carefully picked. The first DAO members we picked them in the beginning, but we want it to be totally decentralized. So eventually they will pick their own new members and stuff like that. So basically that's the method we're using. We're using like a community of curators that they have a name to risk, right? They have reputation to risk, and they're like they're known in their as like figures in the field, and they can add more and more curators using a voting mechanism.
There's a online question there. I don't know if you can see.
Oh, yeah.
The difference between you and the NFT.com.
Well, I have to say I don't know that project, so I have to look.
That's probably
they got the best domain in the world.
The same issue. Mark, did you have a question?
Yeah. Thank you very much. Lovely presentation. A comment and a question. At the start, you said there's perhaps billions of people that are aware of NFTs and very few people who are doing it because of barriers to entry. But at the risk of being sort of a bit cynical, perhaps there are billions of people who are aware of NFTs but are not getting involved because they don't want to. It's a bit like the billions of people who are aware of casinos but don't go because it's not a good way to spend your money. It's not a barrier to entry. It's just perceived as a bit reckless. And I say that knowing we're going to owe a great deal of gratitude to the people that speculate on golf course DAOs and whatnot. That's how it starts. It's excellent. But perhaps there's loads of people out there that are just waiting for that more practical public utility or industrial application. And you did touch on it, like representing the physical in the digital with your stickers, supply chain and logistics and all the rest of it. That's very interesting. But are you aware of any projects in Israel or elsewhere where instead of representing the physical in the digital, they're replacing the physical with the digital. Like, for example, a driver's license or a vaccine certificate or something, which is a thing we actually use.
Yes.
Humans interact with NFTs without knowing it's an NFT. Those authorized to scan it will check for the authorized digital signature of the issue and solve issues of centralized management of data, the wasteful printing of plastic ID, all these problems that can be solved and rendered more efficient is an obvious use case for NFTs. However, those of us who are aware of them, all we hear of is pixelated apes and degen. And so there's a lot of really smart people giving a potentially really useful tech a bad name. So pardon the rambling, but the quick question, are you aware of any genuine, practical, useful applications that left-brain thinkers that were just normal can relate to?
Yeah, so totally. First of all, I have to say I really like your attitude, and I agree with you. Today, there is a bad name for NFTs, no doubt about it, and maybe that's one of the reasons why people are still not getting near that. And I think that I agree with you, and I think also I hear that from the leading projects, and even those that you would say they're leading the hype, they're not talking about hype. Today the apes kind of do, but for example, there was a project Moonbirds, just one of the biggest projects, and I heard the guy David Rose, in an interview, and he's saying I don't have any connection with those flippers, with those people that are doing speculative, trying to buy and sell like very quick, to make like easy money out of it. He said I'm building like a base fan here, and he has a base fan there. So actually, there is lots of fuel in this industry going from those flippers, right? Lots of the engine is about people that are actually trying to make easy money, and it's like you said, it's speculative and it's casino. And I think, like you said, we're gonna see real use cases in the future. If I know projects like that, I can't say I don't know a project like that yet. I know projects, for example, that you have physical, like you have a bottle of wine, for example, and you can kind of trade it like a stock until you can actually redeem the bottle of wine, like expensive wines, and you can kind of buy the right for that wine before it's actually produced. So you kind of make this liquid, this asset. You can already put money in, and it's making it liquid. So about liquidating assets, that's something that is happening. I know projects like that. But I have to say that you just went into an open door, because Boyo is we are like obsessed with that question, actually, of like what's going to be in 2025, and we see the future like you. We see the future like as actual use cases for NFTs, and we're seeing this pixelated fashion as something that will kind of just gave it a rise, but will not stay. All those flippers, all this is the bubble side of that, right? I totally agree, and I think we're heading that direction. There's still many questions about practical use cases, of course, because it has to connect with real systems, right? It has to connect like with your ID. You gave this idea. You have to connect with the government system, right? And they have to trust it, and it will take a while, until those processes will happen. There is more questions, technical questions, like if it's an ID, it should be non-transferable. Today, NFTs are transferable. There's all kinds of questions, but I know there are projects in that field. I can't mention right now, but I know there are many people that are evolving that.
Yeah, the tech will get there, and I think the more use cases are found each day. And I think you can see from pixelated projects with no utility, suddenly everyone started doing tokens, and then DAOs, and then
yes,
and physical items. But yeah, I'm sure it's a very early day, so I'm sure that it's gonna help. But
yes, I would say also that the utilities we're offering the creator is still in the creator economy, not in the more like tickets and things we think about like in 2025 that we want to be involved in. But right now, when we're thinking about those creators, giving them utilities is basically giving real stuff, giving a way for them to create connections, gifts, benefits, to create connection with community. Today, also, there is a big saying that Web3 is more about the people than the technology. It's basically technology that comes to bring communities together. So I think in that aspect, we're trying to give, we're thinking about, this bubble's going to burst, what's going to stay? That's always what's in our mind. Always something that leads our way. And I think that's the right way to see it. Like, it's like you in a way. I'm very affected, very sympathetic to what you said.
Rush, please.
Excellent. Thank you. And thanks for your time as well. It's very interesting to, know what's coming up. The question I have is about accessibility, because with NFTs, the accessibility in terms of the, getting the wallet, getting which platform to use, the ETH fees, mobile, safe or not. So what's your plans in terms of improving, like, trying to get more of the mainstream trying to get into NFTs? Because I have been into NFTs, and when I try to explain it to new people, they're like, how do you get into it? The gas fees are high in ETH, but in Solana it's not high. In Matic, you've got this. So what's your plans in terms of trying to get this rolled out?
Well, I mean, that's not a problem with Boyo addresses, but there are so many big players, huge players that are, addressing those problems. And this world is very evolving very quickly. If it's the bridges between the different blockchains, and if it's the layer 2 solutions that we have. And right now, Boyo is still on Ethereum, on main Ethereum network. That's because that's where most of the game is. But I would say I mean, we have we want to add more blockchains as time evolves. And like most projects, we want to be multi-chain. And I mean, I think that we're very early on and there is huge powers that are, and we kind of have to see together where this is going in that sense. It's not like our job to solve all that. And I think we will see. Of course, that's what most speculants are saying. We're going to see more layer 2 solutions, more going to different blockchains than Ethereum. We'll see more bridges, more connections between those blockchains, that are working together somehow. That's what everyone's saying.
Amazing. No, that's good. And all the best with your roadmap. It looks really good.
Thank you, Rush.
Simon has a question too.
Yeah, thank you very much. Very interesting presentation. I guess I'm one of the ones who hasn't bought an NFT, although I have followed the technology closely. And one of the reasons I haven't done that is some doubts and concerns about the current state of the technology. So I have 3 points I just wanted to raise with you and get your views. So one of them is, of course, that particularly with Ethereum gas being so high and NFTs being a high consumer of gas, and it's extremely expensive to buy. And obviously there's the opportunity for other chains, but just how you see that going, irrespective of whether ETH2 gets up, it's always 6 months away. Second one was getting to provenance and authentication, which I think is a real issue with the current blockchains. How do you know?
Sorry, I couldn't hear. Problems with what?
Yep, sorry. Provenance and authentication.
Authentication.
The major issue in relation to artworks on NFTs, and your thoughts on how that's going to be resolved. And the last one is standardization of the NFT contracts themselves, because they're not transparent. They are linked to particular platforms, particularly the Opensea, and it's quite a contrast, say, to ERC20 tokens, which are universal and everyone knows what they are. The auditing process is a little simpler. There's a big auditing process in DeFi, which is a major concern. And I think NFTs haven't really standardized on a particular contract, even though Opensea is clearly quite dominant. And was it 1155, the original one that CryptoKitties had, was obviously pretty popular as well. But there is no open, auditable, or at least there was last time I looked, open auditable contract that's well accepted like other areas. So those sort of 3 areas, if you've got some thoughts, it'd be interesting to hear.
I just gotta let you know that Leo has 5 minutes before the next call.
Yeah, it's fine. So you asked, I think your first question was about authentication, right?
Yes.
And you meant by authentication, authenticating the artist is the real artist and not a scam. That's what you meant?
Like the equivalent of an artist signing a regular picture. So you can check it's a Gauguin by the signature and the authentication.
Yeah. So, I mean, the way we address it, we do have a KYC. Basically, mostly it works with the physical pieces, but with the galleries, we do have a KYC process that basically links between a KYC identification and the wallet. So that's something that we have as a solution. It's a working solution. We're using a third party service, very trustable one. So that's the way we address it. But as we all know, the world of blockchain is, I mean, without that, it's not very, doesn't like KYC too much. Let's say it very simply, and it's very anonymous world. So in that sense, it's hard. I mean, I mean, it's also hard to hardcore Web3 guys to get them do a KYC. It's not something that they like. But because we work with more like I don't know, more like a normal civilized, I don't say, persons that like bodies like galleries and stuff like that, more traditional, that's the word, more traditional, then they are willing to do the KYC, and it's also good for them, because they have a good name in real life. That's how we address it. And about your question about the transparency and your standardization, ERC 721, I mean, maybe I'm wrong here, but it is an open standard, and I think it's the best. I mean, that's my personal opinion here. One of the biggest, the biggest, I don't know, challenges of any industry, and blockchain industry in the last 10 years was standardization. If anyone uses whatever standard and whatever methods he wants to use, then it's very hard to create a working industry. And although ERC 7.2 is not perfect, I see that as a huge advance. I mean, the technology of creating blockchain registers was before ERC 7.1. It was on other blockchains as well. But since this current hype created some standard, I'm very happy with that. That's my personal opinion. I'm very happy with having a standard in this industry that will kind of, something that we can all relate to now. Because me and you, we both of us right now are speaking about and know about ERC 721. That's for me I'm very happy about it. And I think, it is, maybe I'm wrong here, but I mean, if I had my like real serious tech guy, the founding engineer, maybe he would say something different. But I know ERC 7.2 is open, like everything on the blockchain, you can see the contract, it's auditable. And the connection between to Opensea, then you have contracts that are also open, but you interact with those contracts. These are the selling contracts, the Wyvern protocol. These are the selling contracts. They're also open, but it's only for like special auditors to kind of audit that and to understand what's going on there. And they had also some problems that they kind of solved recently about people are still they're using their protocol. So yeah, that's about it. That's what I have to say about it.
Oh, before you go, Leo, when's the launch? Oh, how far away are you?
August, God willing, August.
That's not too bad. And so, what do you need to achieve before then?
We are working on an investment right now. We have completed a pre-seed investment. Right now we're involved in another stage of another round of investment, and we have to. I mean, we have our system working, and right now we're upgrading the system, and we want to put the new UI UX on that. And we want to add a few crew members, and we're launching the beta in June. And yeah, that's about it.
Where can people find you?
We have our website, boyo.life. So people can go there, and they can address us from there through our Twitter, through our Telegram, even whatever.
Yeah, cool. And so with that fundraising, and you mentioned the DAO, are you doing it as a DAO with tokens to fundraise?
Yeah. So actually, that's a good question, and of course we considered that, and we decided to do a traditional fundraise. And I'll tell you the reason. It's very very honest and very straight, and I think it's a good answer. I mean, taking money from people that are like kind of buying tokens is, I don't see it like, for me, for other people, I don't know, they do whatever they do. I don't see it as the straightest thing to do, because it's not the cleanest money. That's what I believe. Because if you cannot convince, people that are like investors, qualified investors, that you have something, and you take money out of people that are like not qualified investors, obviously, and they're like giving their savings. I don't want to be in that situation. I would rather have qualified investors telling me no than and then I'll say, okay, I have to check myself. Than getting like tokens, like getting money from people that are not qualified for that.
So does that mean you probably do, once you get the investment through with the DAO, do you think you'll end up doing tokens or an NFT kind of gated community for that DAO from a governance perspective? Or
Yeah. We plan to launch a token, our own token, and to create a DAO from that token. Of course, we want to have we eventually we will be. They can fire us. I mean, eventually the DAO could fire us as the founding team. Eventually, that will take like probably 2 or 3 years, but yeah, that's the direction we're going. It's totally decentralized.
Cool. Thanks for that. Thanks, Leo. I think I'll better let you go. It's 1 minute past, so hopefully you're not going to miss the next call and next arrangements. But thanks for the presentation, and I hope we might keep in touch and maybe reconnect when you launch or before launch or something like that, just so we can update everyone.
All right. Thank you for the chance talking, Paulius. And
Thank you.
Cheers. It was really a pleasure, gentlemen, and goodbye.
Have a good day.